Strap in and be prepared.
Maybe I learned from your failures.
That is what you could do.
Yeah.
Interesting guests.
Kelly Graves, Mike Parker, Josh Pate, George Reiser, Ryan Lee, Yogi Roth, who said that Justin and I are smart.
Sharp opinions.
I think Dan Lanning sitting in his office going, you know what, fine, give us the toughest road to win the national championship. That's what it should be.
Oregon State in their baseball program is still operating from a position of strength, even if they're independent. But here they are in the College World Series.
And some smiles.
It's iconic.
We're not keeping score, but maybe we're keeping score.
The fastest 60 minutes in sports is on the air. It's Danny Havel.
When I wake up every morning, I say to myself, what can I do to make Baby J's life better today?
Justin Grossweiner.
Have I ever told you, Danny, that growing up I really loved ducks?
Danny and Justin starts now on Fox Sports Eugene and Newport.
Hello, neighbors, and welcome high atop the Delta Triad, the Crystal Palace, the Bigfoot Beverages Studios in Eugene and Newport. This is the fastest 60 minutes in sports talk for a Monday. Fox Sports Eugene and Newport, 102.9 FM, 1050 AM in the Willamette Valley and on the coast at 92.7 FM KNCU. Thanks for lending us your ears for the next 60 minutes or so. Canzano comes up at 3, but we get to occupy the little chairs until then. Hope you had a nice weekend. You can follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky, Danny and Justin. YouTube as well out there, Danny and Justin with our channel. As we head out to Laurelwood on Thursdays, a couple more weeks of that, actually the whole month of August, and then we'll start doing it one time a month. I'm Danny Howell. Right over there is my tag team partner, Justin Grossweiner. We call him Baby J. What up, boy?
Well, I'm gearing up for travel. Danny, I was in Portland yesterday. I'm in Eugene today. I'm going to Alaska tomorrow. So I'm just kind of playing it loose.
Man made a lot of stuff.
That was a perfect opportunity for the Dylan Gabriel drop, but I don't know if I have it anymore.
Could have been. It's in there somewhere. You could probably find it.
I can find it. But I'm excited, and I'm excited to be here for the next 2 days before I take off.
You were in the Rose City this weekend, eh?
Correct. I ended up going up again.
By the way, you know today is Chocolate Chip Cookie Day?
I did not. I love the different days. We had Beaver Day. We had Amelia Earhart Day, right?
Yeah, that was last week when we were out at Laurelwood.
Right.
That's just, to me, sometimes it's just filler.
Of course.
But I didn't know it was Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. My wife, Deborah, told me that as I was leaving. Well, actually, like 10 minutes before I was leaving to come here to the studio. And so what I did was I knocked on my daughter's door and said, Abby, what? You know, it's Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. Because she knows I was going to ask. I said one batch.
Oh, she makes them.
Oh, yeah,
she's the one.
She acts, well, I make them too.
Okay.
I brought the last batch that you had that I brought were the ones that I made. So, but my daughter had recently just made peanut butter cookies. She thought that was going to last for a little while, but it's Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. You got to have a chocolate chip cookie on Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. So, sorry, I took a left turn there. So you went up to Portland, saw Mom, got everything dialed in. You actually fly out of Portland tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Because you get a direct flight, right, from Portland to wherever
Portland
you're going?
to Fairbanks, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I wanted the direct flight. It makes a little bit more sense to go up to Portland.
How long is that? About a 5.5 hour flight? So with the time, because there's a time change as well, isn't there?
Alaska is an hour earlier. Okay. Or sorry, 2 hours earlier.
Yeah. So you keep going.
An hour earlier? I think it's an hour earlier.
I think it's only an hour.
Yeah, it's only an hour. Hawaii's 2 hours earlier. That's why I'm messed up.
I always remembered Alaska when I flew up there is that if you didn't have the right cell plan, you would just
100%.
You'd look at your bill the next month and go, what happened here?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. There's only, I believe, a couple of them up there. That used to be AT&T and this service called ACS. And
Alaskan Cell Service?
Something like that. And I know that there's a few more up there now. I know that I'm good because I was there last year. And
you were fine?
Yeah, I didn't get any big problems or anything like that.
So a lot of things on the agenda today. When we get into football season now, all of a sudden all the rest of the news starts pouring out. So we'll have news and notes in a moment. There's a few, we got polls that have come out. We'll talk about those a little bit for college football. I kind of want to touch... But maybe we'll leave it for tomorrow on the announcement that was made today. We could have probably used it as news and notes unless you're already doing it, on the NCAA tournament holding off on expansion.
Not one of my news and notes.
Okay, let's do that tomorrow.
Okay.
So we can talk about it. Because I also want to talk about this this new fantasy football, we were talking a lot about this here in the roll-up to the show. You didn't get to hear it, but Justin and I had a conversation about fantasy football, and there's a Guillotine-style league that Yahoo is putting out.
Explain, by the way.
So Guillotine, it's like Survivor League. So there's the most popular one is pick the team that you think is going to win, or pick the team that you think is going to lose that week. And then you can't pick the same team twice. So if you, in the football season for the pros, if you say New England's going to lose this week, then and they lose, then you move on to the next week. And everybody else who didn't pick the right one, they are eliminated. Mm-hmm. Okay? And it could be the opposite way. I'm going to pick a team that wins blank. This league it's not a secret. It's been around for a little while, but I don't think the platform's been there for it to go national.
They're recently becoming very popular.
So we're going to get into the Guillotine League. And so I find it a little fast. In fact, I'm intrigued by it, and I was telling you, I think we should form a Guillotine League.
I think it's the kind of league where you're going to want to keep your main league, but then have a side
This
league.
is your side hustle.
Exactly.
This will be your girlfriend.
100%. Not committed to it as much.
Well, it all depends.
Well, I mean, isn't that just
not committed
by
to the
definition true?
Okay. I don't know why it struck me that funny, but I guess it did. The Danny and Justin radio program live from the Bigfoot Beverages Studios in Eugene.
You should be committed to all the
Newport.
women in your life, really.
Absolutely, and I have plenty of them. We're going to have the head coach of the Cubs high school football team out there in Newport, or here in Newport. Mark Moore is going to join us in the second part of the program. We'll talk about the upcoming season in the OSAA, which begins for them just about a month from now, as they don't play 0 week, what they call 0 week in high school football in the state of Oregon, but they do start out the weekend after Labor Day on the 5th against Philomath. So we'll talk to the head coach about what he's been doing this summer and the outlook on the team this year and trying to build things back. Second-year head coach in Newport. It's Mark Moore joining us on the program. We'll have some news and notes. USTA, USTF. I said USTA, that's tennis. USATF, the track and field national championships, had a little spice yesterday at Hayward Field. So we'll discuss that shortly after news and notes as well. And then, of course, as we said, the Guillotine League. And then the polls. We got lots to go over today, so hang on. Let's dive right into news and notes. We'll get through this. I've got a lot of pickles to talk about today.
No comment.
So you want to start then?
No, I mean, if you want me to, I can start.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, well, I want to give a shout out to my mom about this story. She
Okay.
was the one that told me that we should talk about this, tipped me off to it. It's about the Enhanced Games, which I don't know if you've heard of, Danny. The Enhanced Games is basically a Olympic-style venture that is a no-drug testing model for Olympic sports. And so they've signed their first female athlete, Danny, who is world champion swimmer Megan Romano. So they're going to debut next May in Las Vegas, and they're going to feature swimming, track, and weightlifting competitions that will allow performers to. They're not going to drug test them, basically. So I don't know if they're actually literally saying you need to, but it's a blind eye situation, I guess you could say. So Romano is a standout swimmer from Georgia in college, and she anchored the U.S. 4x100 freestyle relay to the team to get a gold medal in the World Championships in 2013. So she's a legitimate athlete, Danny, and so I think that there's a little bit of a foothold on here with this Enhanced Games situation, but I think there's also a conversation to be had about whether or not this is good for the athletes, because in my opinion, there's a reason why we banned these steroids and other substances, because they're bad for people. We're protecting the athletes.
Somebody is going to collapse and
100%.
pass away during one of these competitions, and that will be it. Wow. Is it possible the WNBA is very short-sighted? So on Saturday, it broke over the weekend that the Mohegan Tribe has agreed to sell its WNBA team to Celtics minority owner Steve Palaluka, who planned to relocate the team to Boston. So it should have been, great day, because here's an owner who's pretty well liked, wants to spend $325 million plus another $100 million to build a practice facility, take over a franchise that has no longer any resources to compete in its current spot. And you know what the WNBA says? Nah, we're going to pass. They're blocking it right now. The Board of Governors says relocation decisions are made by them and not by individual teams. What a way to scare away someone who wants to inject. And you're on a rise right now with Sabs, with Brianna Stewart, with Caitlin, all of this energy, and this is not the kind of headline you want to have splashed across the sports scene.
Damian Lillard is joining the famous ranks of GMs in the college ranks
last week.
Yeah, so he's going to be the general manager of, guess where? Weber State, of course.
Yay!
He was the two-time Big Sky MVP in his 3 seasons at Weber State before leaving after his junior season. Only All-American in program history, 4th in career scoring. And he said that he's going to work with coaching staff and athletic department leadership to provide insight, mentorship, and guidance using his experience in collegiate and professional level. So,
plenty of time this year.
I'm about to say he's going to have plenty of time this year.
He's going to get to be able to ease into that job. So, this is like a fan's dream. Being able to go out and compete for a team that you are rooting for. And up in Portland, the Portland Pickles, we've talked about them several times. They're a collegiate summer baseball wooden bat league team. They play in the same league as, I believe, the Springfield Drifters do. They had a fan appreciation night during an exhibition game against the Portland Gherkins at Walker Stadium in Portland. A lucky fan was randomly selected. His name is Dixie. He didn't get the full name. He made sure not to squander the opportunity. He didn't even wear a jersey that matched the team. He basically grabbed an old Bat Boy jersey and got up, drew a walk in his first plate appearance, scored a run eventually, and then,
wow.
And by the way, he slid into second wearing shorts.
Ooh.
Out. Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah. So, he got another at bat. He worked a full count. Boom. He knocks it over the left center field wall for a 2-run home run in the 8th inning.
What kind of experience does this guy have? That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know
He's
the
guy,
backstory.
every single guy that's like sitting in the stands is like, if I was out there, I hit a homer.
Exactly right. So congratulations. What a great story.
That is awesome. It sounds familiar. It's almost like the guy that is in every single hockey arena that is the 5th goalie.
Oh, yeah, and they
can
bring
just
him
go
out.
to either team.
Blackhawks had a guy that was bagging groceries the night before, and he was in an NHL game the next day.
100%. It's pretty wild to me, so it sort of reminded me of that. Well, the coaches poll came out today for college football.
Yeah.
Texas had the most first-place votes at 28. Ohio State, number 2 at 20. Penn State also garnered 14 votes. A couple other teams got first-place votes. Georgia with 3. They're sitting at number 4. And Clemson's at number 6. They have 2 first-place votes. Sandwiched in between those 2 teams is Notre Dame at number 5. Oregon at number 7, and just to round out the top 10, Alabama at number 8, number 9, LSU, and old friend Mario Cristobal is leading Miami at number 10.
So other Big Ten teams, Illinois checked in at 11, Michigan 14, and Indiana at 19 in that coaches poll. By the way, George Reister's Unafraid poll, it's got Clemson as number 1.
Yeah, that's a little bit out there. I'm not saying it's odd.
It's a flyer.
But it's definitely, you never know. It seems like it could be that type of year.
It's a poll.
Do you think we're going to see more parity this year?
Absolutely, I think so.
I think so, too.
I think conference to conference, there's still going to be the cream to the top. But the top of the cream across every single major conference, I think is going to be very, very even. Very even. So it appears Walt Disney has gotten itself out of a pickle by reaching, by the way, I have to say the Oregonian writer that did this, I lost his name. I'll get it back. I'm quoting from his story, okay? Mm-hmm. So all of these I'm going to credit to the Oregonian writer. So Walt Disney's gotten itself out of a pickle by reaching a deal to make the Portland-based lawsuit go away. Now, remember we talked about the Portland Pickles suing Disney because of a trademark infringement.
Correct.
Because they built a show called Win or Lose, did Disney, and Disney claimed their mascot and their team name and merchandise was not a part of what Dylan T. Pickle has up in Portland. So, of course, they sold the merchandise. The Smiling Pickle sued. So apparently there is a settlement in the works. Pickles asked a judge to give them 30 days to think about it. So I think it's something they could relish.
I just rolled my eyes. Just rolled my eyes on that last one. No, I mean, it was pretty good. It was a bunch of good puns in there. I can always appreciate it.
All right. So there we go. There's our news and notes. USATF National Championships and the Para Championships were this weekend and finished up at Hayward Field. And there were some sparks on Sunday. Noah Lyles edged rival Kenny Bednarik in a 200-meter final, but at the race's conclusion, Bednarik shoved Lyles in the back after they crossed the finish line. And then it carries over into a post-race interview. So this is a long time going back and forth. Lyles is a 3-time world champ, 2019, 22, 23, and defeated Bednarik in the 2024 U.S. Olympic trials ahead of the Paris Games. Bednarik got the best of Lyles in Paris, had a silver medal finish ahead of the bronze by Lyles that denied him double Olympic gold after Lyles won the 100 meters. And Bednarik's been pretty much the dominant male sprinter in the circuit, and he was undefeated until Sunday. So apparently in the post-race interview, both runners went on with NBC. The tension was still fresh. I didn't see this, but I'm reading the reports on it. The runners were hashing things out in range of NBC's camera and microphone before the interview commenced.
Yeah.
Wow.
Noah Lyles, not the first guy that he's ruffled some feathers with, for sure.
Yeah, it's highly competitive, isn't it? Cooper Lutgenhaus passed 5 runners to place second in the men's 800 final, likely the best performance in the competition. He broke a high school and U18 world record in the process. Melissa Jefferson-Wooden continued her hot year. She won the women's 200-meter final just days after winning the 100-meter final. Also of note, Cole Hocker wins the 5,000-meter. He pushed past Grant Fisher in the final meters to win the 5,000-meter. Nico Young
pretty good at
took
that.
third. Huh?
He's pretty good at that.
Yeah, the kick is incredible. And then another big note was that Sha'Carri Richardson missed the cut for the women's 200 final by just 100th of a second. And it was crazy. Melissa Jefferson-Wooden, as I said, won the 200 meters final, but Sha'Carri Richardson obviously is a fan favorite. So
right.
It was another great event. Weather was awesome, and if you attended down at Hayward Field, congratulations, good on you. So, have yourself a chocolate chip cookie, sit back, relax, and then we're going to step aside. When we come back, it's Mark Moore from the Newport High School Cub football program. We're going to talk a little football. We're getting ready for it at the high school level as well. The Danny and Justin radio program continues live from Newport and Eugene for the Bigfoot Beverages studio. So I want to remember to remind the listening audience the August Advantage membership discount still going on because it's just starting August right now. For the Back Nine. Remember the Back Nine down there on Coburg Road, right in the Sheldon Plaza next to Safeway. 24-hour 7 access. You get your own code or you go on the app. You sign up for a bay. They got 4 beautiful bays, full swing technology. You can play any course in the world for the most part. And right now you can get 10% off your membership for life. All you do is plug in the code August10. So August 10 when you go in and sign up for your membership. Now, this is only going to last for August, so when the weather starts to turn, it starts to get rainy and wet and cold and all that, and you want to get a 10% off, if you haven't done it in August, it's going to be gone. So do it now. The Back Nine, August 10 is the code for your 10% off membership. Live from the Bigfoot Beverages studios in Eugene and Newport, the Danny and Justin radio program rolls on here. And let's head over to the Oregon Man Clinics hotline and welcome in the head coach of the Newport Cubs high school football team. It's Mark Moore joining us at 541-343-5673. Coach, how's the summer been?
It's been busy, I'll tell you. We have been trying to hit in the ground running and doing what we can do, and so it's been good.
Second year as the head man out there on the coast. He's a Newport lifer, the campus dean for the Lincoln County School. I did my research, Coach.
It sounds like it. Yes, great job.
Thank you very much. And second year at the helm, but now this will be what, the third or fourth year down at the 3A level. So the 4A participation is through all the other sports, but in Newport, football dropped down to 3A, and last year you went 2-5, 3-6. So talk about Special District 2 first and your prep, because you've got some mighty fine football teams, Amity, Dayton, Scioto, Taft, and you start out with Philomath on the 5th of September.
Yeah, it was, when we dropped down to that 3A, and I think that they do that just so you can, get some success to
Sure.
try to build the program and the culture. And I guess it's generally thought that if you drop down, you would have that. We have had no such luck. That league that we dropped into, that special district, they are stacked.
Yep.
And I mean, great coaches, great teams. Santiam Christian, Dayton, just like you say, all those other teams, and Taft has been doing great. So it has not been an easy ride down there.
And a lot of road games on your schedule too. What's your approach to that?
Well, my last year rather, it was kind of the dream schedule. We had 5 games at home, and so I guess this is my penance. I have to, pay that the next year I got to go. So I'm excited because it's to get to go to these schools and to have that experience is great for the kids, and so I think I'm looking forward to it. Although I always do, I love playing at home. It's easy, but I am looking forward to getting out on the road.
Mark Moore, the head coach of the Newport Cubs, joining us. The football program kicks into gear with a game against Philomath on the 5th of September. So just about a month away before we start the football season in the high school ranks in the state of Oregon. So no 0-week game for you, Coach. So you get another week to prepare. There are some schools that'll start kicking it off on the 29th of August. So with your enrollment, isn't it always pretty much a numbers game with you as a head coach? Because you got to make sure you're putting kids in the position to succeed, but you got to have some numbers to start. So talk about how, you identify, or I don't want to say recruit kids, but how you talk to kids about, hey, football would be pretty cool here if you can join us. So talk about that process for you.
Yeah, I'll tell you that you're exactly right. It's a numbers game, and we have kids. If every kid that was walking the hallway that was athletic was out on our field or in our gyms or on our baseball diamonds, we'd have an extremely successful athletic program. And so I'm lucky enough with several of my coaches that we work in the building. And so it's talking to kids and reestablishing that culture of what Newport High football has been in the past. And I was lucky enough to have graduated from Newport High School and played for Gene Morrow, our field namesake, and what an incredible man he was. And then had came back and was able to coach with him and coached for a number of years. And just what Newport High has been, what the culture that we've had in the past it was not an issue with getting kids out, but now it's a bit of a struggle, and so, but I feel like it's changing. We have some kids that are coming out, and luckily we have a group of young kids. We are just at the tip of the spear with our young kids coming up. Our 8th graders coming in, they'll be freshmen this year, and then the 8th graders and 7th graders behind them is a really good class, and so I'm excited for the future of Newport High football.
And when you do get the kids into this program, we hear so much when we talk to coaches about connection and the relationships between players and how important that is. What's your approach to creating connection with your players?
Well, it goes back, and I think the thing is the old saying, they don't know how much, or they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And it's we have great kids, and the kids that come out there and grind are absolutely amazing individuals, and you can't help but get to know them individually and as a group and a class, and you just form that relationship with them. And ultimately my goal is I want to create better men, better husbands, better fathers, better employees, better employers. I want these kids to come away with some of the stuff that I came away with when I was able to play for Coach Morrow, and just how great it is to be on a team and play and have the team be the first thing, and so it's and like I said before, I have been blessed with an incredible coaching staff, and we are making connections, and maybe the kid that I don't necessarily connect with, one of our other coaches does, and so it's building those connections and making those those lifelong relationships on the football field. And that's how I feel about it.
Newport High School head football coach Mark Morworth us here on the Danny and Justin radio program. Has your approach changed at all here in your second season as head coach?
A little bit, yeah. I was, at first I was out recruiting and pushing and coming out, and really kind of working on kids. And now I feel like some of the kids that we've got a pretty good base. And those kids are going to, and I feel like, we're going to go to, if we have 20 some odd kids and we're going to go to battle with 20 kids. And before I thought, well, I got to have, 50 to 60 kids on the field if it's going to be a successful program. And I think we're trending in that direction, but we're not there just yet. With success comes numbers. And so, but I think we have a good core group of young men that are they're working their tails off and they want to get better and they're doing all the right things. And so that's, I'm not necessarily as concerned about numbers as I've had in the past I just want some warriors that are going to come out there and play.
So, Coach, Newport is a pretty unique area, and it's a blue-collar town. I mean, a lot of the tourism and all of the things that attract people to the coast, and there are a lot of family-owned businesses. A lot of family businesses are handed down generation to generation in the service industry as well. So, what I'm getting to is you probably get a little different kind of kid than maybe other programs get because they're used to working. They're used to participating and investing in something outside of just schoolwork or, having fun as a kid. So talk about that and how sometimes it might be a little bit of a struggle to get kids pulled away from their other family responsibilities.
Yeah, that's exactly. We have, we here in Newport, and I'm sure as other communities do, but Newport more so, we've been truly blessed with we have some amazing families.
Yeah. And
some amazing people that do a variety of things from volunteering to help the program out by running the clock or doing the down markers to really instilling a work ethic in their children so that when they come out, that's not something that's new to them. They understand the grind and what it takes. But, it is like you say, there is a component of we've had some kids that have, started working during the summer and really wanted to work so they could afford to buy a car
right.
or do, and I was never in that situation. I love sports so much and mainly I just wanted to hang out with my friends. And so I want these kids to get back to, it's a small window and to just enjoy that time with their buddies because they're not going to have that anymore. And they have the rest of their life to work. And there are some families that, or some families that it's a real necessity and we'll work with those families and those kids so that we can try to make the best of both worlds. But, it's definitely a different time now.
Yeah, definitely a balance. Coach Mark Moore joining us from the Newport Cubs high school football program. They get ready for Philomath on the 5th of September. They start their season coming off a 3-6 year last year. So, Coach, how do you want to build on that? Let's talk about what style you want to put out on the field, and maybe if you want to highlight a couple of players that are returning or those that you're looking forward to being leaders on your football program coming up in that first game against Philomath.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. We were our oldest group, our most experienced group was our skilled players last year, and we got hit by the injury bug like I have never seen. I have never had this like it was in all of my coaching career, and I've coached for 30 plus years, and we had of our 9 seniors out there were 8 of them out at any given time.
Wow.
with legitimate things from broken hands to hyperextended knees to you name it. At one point we were down to our 4th quarterback and our JV quarterback, who was a freshman at the time, he was out with a broken finger. And so it was a real shuffle last year. And so with that group graduating, and they had some leadership and they left some legacy that is really we're seeing now. And so we have a group of kids coming in. I expect our linemen to be our best group, as they are juniors now, and they've kind of been forced into the fire when they were younger to play and probably weren't ready. And so, but now they're starting to come into themselves. And so I expect this year for our offensive line to really, be our strongest group more than likely. And that's, and that's juniors. All of them are juniors. We have Nate Roberts, who is a wrestler, and he's just a dog. That kid will work and run through a brick wall for you. We've got some other kid, Jackson Jinks, Alex Colomo. They're just hard workers. And so, we have another young man, Jeff Winchester, who will be our lone senior on the offensive line. And we lost him for a majority of last year with a broken hand. So he's had surgery and he's recuperating and going to be back. So we expect some big things out of that offensive line. And, following him, we have a young J.C. Berry, who is our fullback and Mike linebacker, who he stepped up and filled a gap for us last year. And we expect more, if not some big things out of him. He is an excellent athlete, a great human being, and he's been fantastic. So, and then behind that, we have a very young group of kids, an Andre Cato, who is he'll be a linebacker and running back for us. And so he had a real good 7-on-7 season that we did during this past summer. And so he looks to contribute quite a bit next year. And our quarterbacks, we have a sophomore, Jackson McDowell, who's really grown over this past summer. And so we've seen growth, through there, but he again will be a sophomore. And so we are very inexperienced, but I have all the faith in the world in my offense coordinator, Coach Eddie Townsend, and my D coordinator, Jacob Fulbright. They are going to put our packages together that will put our kids in the right spot to make the best things happen.
Well, Coach, one last question for you. It's on the defensive side of the football. And obviously, whenever you get below the 4A and below level, you got a lot of kids who I call Ironmen because they do have to play both sides of the football. So talk about that and how, training-wise, you try and avoid some of the things that happened last year. And some of it's just bad luck. But training can lead into trying to mitigate some of the injury opportunities.
You're 100% right. And while last year was just as bad luck as you could possibly have, it was freakish. We have really preached, and last year was a great lesson. It's like we've got to get into the weight room and we've got to kind of build that armor if we're going to go through and have a 7-8 game season and not get injured. Especially when kids are going all three ways, OD and special teams. And so if you're going to take that kind of beating throughout the season and give it, you've got to be strong. And so Coach Jacob Fulbright, our D coordinator, has done, and one of our new coaches this year, Austin Perry, have done a great job. We bumped up our lifting program to 4 days a week and followed up with some conditioning, and the kids have bought into it. And so we're seeing a lot of things from, this summer that we didn't see last. And so we really expect that to pay off in the fall.
Well, Coach, best of luck to you this season. Stay injury-free, stay healthy throughout the season. We look forward to talking to you several more times throughout the season, and good luck against Philomath on the 5th.
Thank you, and I appreciate you guys calling and giving me the time. I look forward to talking with you guys, too, with some great news, hopefully.
Absolutely. Coach Mark Moore, thanks, buddy. You have a great rest of the day, and have a good practice.
All right, thank you.
All right. There he goes, Coach Mark Moore, head coach, the Newport Cubs. They start their season against Philomath on the 5th of September. District 2 is tough, man. With Sandy Ann Christian, Scio, Dayton, Blanchett Catholic, Taft up and coming. It's interesting to see how they do this year. All right, when we come back, more on the Danny and Justin radio program. There is a fantasy football new league I think you're going to like. We're going to talk about it. Yeah, we're going to talk about it when we come back. The Danny and Justin radio program on a Monday. good tune here. Not sure who it is, but
Alice in Chains.
okay. I should probably know that, but yeah, I don't. Not on top of my head. Hey, friends, why is Eugene a wonderful city to call home? We are progressive. We have natural beauty. We have a strong sense of neighborhood identity. And if you're looking to move here, or if you're looking to move around in Eugene, especially if you're in the South Eugene area, call up our good friend Susan Heisey. Bailey and Heisey Real Estate. Susan does not take on a whole lot of inventory, which means it's not like it's a numbers game with her. We're going to have 20 listings and you're just one of the numbers. Very few listings. She takes care of you with a personal approach. It can be an apprehensive thing whether you're buying or selling real estate. Trust it to Susan Heisey. She's been doing it for over 20 years, greater Eugene area, but she specializes in South Eugene. Give her a call at 541-520-2246, or you can email Susan at Heisey Homes, Heisey. That's Susan Heisey. She is the owner and principal broker at Bailey and Heisey Real Estate. They're located in South Eugene, right next to Provisions South. Okay? You know where that is? There you go. All right. So, fantasy football is almost upon us. And you, young man, we talked about this when we do our big bets, which, by the way, we're reviving. We're going to put a twist on it this year. We're going to have Goose in on Fridays when we do our big bets. And I think we're involving the fans this year as well. In fact, I know we're going to involve the fans whether or not we get somebody to step up and help us with it. I'm just going to say that right now. Okay? And we're going to have a big charity football game as well this fall. Between you, we got it finally figured out. You and Justice Lowe are going to go at it mano a mano in college football.
I've been practicing.
Well, you better not embarrass us.
Listen, I'm definitely not going to embarrass us. With these athletes, this is just my opinion. I don't know how Justice's game is. They're either very, very good at sports games, or they don't really just care because they're so actually into the sport in real life that they just don't really have an interest. I think he's going to be into it, though. It sounds like he is.
There was a recurring theme with a lot of his teammates that he was legit. And so I want to kind of do a Don King presser beforehand between you. We'll get Justice in the studio, and you guys can talk smack to each other.
Here's the benefit that I have, Danny. The benefit that I have is that just because he's a football player doesn't mean that he has an inherent advantage in the game, because the game runs very differently than what real life football is. So it's really going to be about, does he play the game? Because I play the game. So if he's playing the game too, it's not like he's just going to be able to pick it up.
I think you're already kind of throwing down a little bit because you play the game.
I play the game. So if it's going to be one of those things where he's going to kind of pick up the sticks for the first time in a while, then I think that I've got a pretty good shot. But if he is a decent, has some hours into the game, then I think it's going to be a battle.
Okay. So we got a lot of things on the table there. We talked about big bets. We talked about, the charity thing that we're going to do with Justice. So I'm going out there and saying it because Travis Rickley is helping us with Duck Rising to get this arranged. We're going to do it on a bye week because we don't want to do it like when there's a game coming up.
Right.
Do it on a bye week.
Yeah, we want to be respectful.
They're kind of dialing it back. Kind of. It's a work week still.
We want our big bets to be like Christmas, as much Goose as possible.
Exactly. So, and you have another protector. So you don't have to wear a banana suit again this year.
Right.
Because you know what I have for you now is I have the taco suit, but you say you already have a taco suit.
I already have a taco suit. Yeah, I've already worn that to a wedding reception, actually.
You did not wear that to a wedding reception.
It was like a wedding after party or something. It was a Halloween themed party.
Well, that's appropriate then.
Who was my boss at the taco restaurant. So actually, I wasn't the only taco. Actually, there are 2 or 3 other people had the same idea as me. But I felt like it was perfect, right?
Hey, it's all right. I'm not the only. It wouldn't be horrible. It's that really you picked that as well. You weren't the only taco there, so you weren't embarrassed because now you had a pair of tacos.
I actually was a little bit disappointed. I wanted to be the only one to think about it. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness gracious. All right, fantasy football. You like fantasy football.
I love fantasy football.
Okay, you
I think
love
the best
fantasy
quote
football.
about fantasy football, I'm probably going to flub it a little bit, is that everybody wants to talk about their fantasy football team, but nobody wants
cares.
to talk about
I don't want to talk about. No, I don't care about your team.
Exactly.
But you and I had plenty of debates about who to start, who to trade, who to go through.
Yeah.
That I'm okay doing that. I just say, okay, so who do you got? Who's your wide receiver?
And we're not in the
Who's your
same
wide receiver?
league, so we're just purely exchanging ideas.
I am there for you.
I need as much information from as many different sources as possible, and then I will take all that information in, and I will make my own decision.
And then you own it.
Exactly.
Exactly.
It's my decision.
So you've heard of guillotine style leagues before.
I have heard of them.
So you just don't want to finish last. This is like, I don't need to be faster each week. I don't need to be faster than the bear. You've heard me say this before. I just need to be faster than you.
Well, listen,
because the bear's going to catch you.
Exactly. You don't need to be running. You don't need to be faster than the bear. You need to be faster than your friend.
So everyone wants to win, the championship, and everyone wants to make the playoffs. And ultimately, you don't want to finish last, right? So this is the guillotine style league. That is, I'll just say it, because they're the sponsor for it. Liquid Death is the drink, is putting together this league for Yahoo, and they've got it out there now. Yahoo Fantasy Guillotine Style League in collaboration with Liquid Death, so they're calling it a killer fantasy football game. You compete for survival every week. So it's basically you just don't finish last. Each week, the lowest scoring team in the league is eliminated. No mercy, game over, you're done. You can go play in another fantasy guillotine league for a chance at glory, but the lowest projected score is going to be matching up with every other team in the league at that point.
So I've got a clarification I would like.
Sure.
So this is a standard sort of,
yes.
Everybody's a draft.
Everyone's going to draft.
Pick.
You got your team,
now,
all of it.
So my question is, what happens to the players of the team when you were eliminated?
That's very good. They all get back into the league, and you have a draft for those players.
So each week,
you will bolster your roster with picking apart the carcass of the team that just lost.
So you could have some really good players in a free agency draft, you could almost call it.
So here's the thing. You can go from one play, you can go from the hunter to the hunted.
Correct.
So in real time, if your team has X amount of points, the other team, everybody else is playing the team that's the lowest point total at that point. That player gets a big play and they jump up to third. Now all of a sudden, you are the one that's got the bullseye on. I think it's a very interesting twist.
It is, and
to fantasy football.
I think you could probably make some decisions on who's getting the first pick, probably in this free agency draft, right? Because you could say, well, we want it to be the team at the bottom, but also maybe you want to reward a team for being the top team and they get the first pick.
There's a lot of different
You could do
twists.
a winner, a rich get richer situation, or you could feed the poor, I guess.
Well, I think it's an interesting I've heard of survivor pools. Survivor pools are different than this.
That's when you're picking each team, right?
Well, you're picking, so I'll just say this. There's how many teams in the NFL?
32.
Okay. So week 1, you're picking a team.
A matchup,
and you're saying, okay, the Raiders are going to lose this week.
Right.
And sometimes it's off the spread or it's just straight up. And if the Raiders lose, you keep moving on, okay? But you can't pick the Raiders again.
Correct. So
they're off the board.
You don't want to just choose the gimme matchups right away. You want to save some of them.
You want to save some of those. And so you are looking at matchups.
Because eventually you're going to be running into situations where you're reaching the end of the season and there's only a few matchups that might even look remotely attractive.
And that's where it gets so most survivor pools get really interesting when you get about to the 7th or 8th week. Mm-hmm. Because now the teams start contracting and condensing.
So if you can pick one of these teams that only gets a couple wins on the season, if you can pick them at the right time, you're at a huge advantage.
Absolutely. Save them for the end. Yeah. And then there's others that you pick the winner every week. You pick a winner every week. And that then becomes problematic as well. It's like, okay, I'm going to take what I think is the widest matchup.
Right.
You might want to save that team who's a powerhouse.
Exactly.
And you look down the schedule a bit. Right. Okay, well, I think if I can make it to week 12.
Well, it'd be probably smart to look through each week and you
I know
have to reevaluate.
Have you ever played in one of those? Because I haven't.
No, I've never. I've heard of them though. This isn't the first I've heard of it. So I've kind of thought about the strategy that I would do before. I'm in my first Dynasty League this year, actually. I'm really excited about that.
So our P1 Mark down in Arizona, Coach Mark, does a Gauntlet League. So the Gauntlet League is you pick the champion in every major sport. And I think even golf's involved.
Oh, wow.
So
see, that's too much for me. When you're talking multi-sports, I'm kind of out at that point.
I mean, he tells me what his picks are every year.
Like, yeah, Mike Trout for Derrick Henry and a first-round pick in the NBA draft, and it's craziness. It's too much for me.
Danny and Justin from the Bigfoot Beverages studio here on a Monday. Tomorrow on the program, we're going to have Sheldon High School head coach T.J. Martell, right?
Tyler Martell.
Pardon me. I say T.J. Maybe he goes. Maybe I'll just start calling him TJ. Who knows?
Then you'll be right.
Tyler Martell will join us as we kind of done a nice little gauntlet of high school football. We're getting closer and closer to that. We're going to start our look forward to the Oregon and Oregon State football season. We're going to start getting some of the play-by-play guys, some of the guys that are covering them in the newspapers over the next couple of weeks on the program. I know we're going to have Isaac Streeter on later on this week on Wednesday when you're gone. We'll be out at Laurelwood on Thursday. And efforting Kenyon Barner. I've been going back and forth with Kenyon to try and figure out the time for Friday to have him on the program. But we'll have some football-heavy Friday as we get to just a couple of weeks away from the actual beginning of the college football season, which begins like on the 23rd.
I know.
Of this month. That's
Is it the 23rd?
No, 20. It's the weekend or the 22nd.
I think it's the 28th.
No, because we had this discussion. UC Davis and Mercer play.
Oh, you're saying the overall schedule.
The overall,
okay.
Yes. If you have a college football game, FBS or FCS,
right,
it doesn't
Oregon
matter.
plays August 30th.
No, the major leagues.
You made me a little scared there because of my scheduling. I have to schedule these things way out of it.
No.
So.
Some of the small. Now, when I say, and that's kind of condescending when you say some of the smaller matchups. Some of the teams that don't have necessarily a ton of eyeballs on them, they will start on the 23rd. They will start.
Sure.
So we're very close to the beginning of the college football season.
Exposure.
Absolutely. And then, of course, you've got the big game overseas with Iowa State and Kansas State in Dublin.
Of course.
Which, everyone's on pins and needles. Farmageddon in the middle of Ireland.
That's like a college football, lifer, like someone that's really into it. That's my opinion. Like, it doesn't excite me.
Well, I mean, we've talked about the venues and how a lot of sports, especially based in the United States, want to become global. I think we can start taking it a little bit too far in some respects.
100% agree. I think that you got to think about the players first, and this is not a
players
first situation.
Players also the fans. Listen, the players are going to get treated like stallions. They're going to get everything that they need. Yes, it's a long plane ride and such. They're going to take care of the players.
I understand.
It's the fan base that's got to go shell out $10,000 to go get a nosebleed seat to watch their favorite team. You've got to be a dedicated fan to do that.
Every sport now is filled in the stands and or fields wherever you're playing with fans that have money, because the fans that can afford it are the ones that can go now, because these events are all getting more expensive. Think about when you were growing up, how much it cost to go to games and what it's like now.
We could buy a ticket to go to Autzen Stadium where we could get a $5 GA ticket and we could go sit wherever we wanted. That's going back a few years.
No, yeah, I can't relate to that.
There were no bar. I mean, there were more seats than there were people. A lot more. So that has definitely changed for good. Let's do dad joke.
Oh, a joke!
I got fired from the bank today. A woman asked me to check her balance, so I pushed her.
Dad jokes!
How is Rome split in two?
Not in a day.
With a pair of Caesars.
Oh, okay. I used to do that speech, Friends, Romans, Countrymen.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did. When I was in, it was speech contests and stuff.
Was that a part? Did everybody have to do the same speech, or did you get to pick one?
No, I chose.
Oh, very good. All right, tomorrow on the program, talk a little Sheldon Irish football. And also, let's talk about the expansion proposed still of the NCAA basketball tournament. We've got some strong opinions. Don't give it all away. That's called the tease. Thanks for tuning in Newport at 92.7 FM and here in the Willamette Valley at 102.9, 1050 AM. We call it Fox Sports Eugene and Newport. Bigfoot Beverages Studio. I'm Danny. That's Justin. God bless you. Put a smiley face on someone else's. They deserve it. So do you. Peace.